guys, today we're going to actually work on the 280Z here. I'm going to start taking the interior out of it, and I thought I'd just bring you guys along on this adventure. We're going to pull the seats. Like I said, I'm going to disassemble everything, not destroy anything in this 2+2 so I can resell it. So if you guys are looking for 2+2 interior parts for a 74 to 76 260 or 280Z, I've got it here. But anyways, let's get started. So I'll start first just by showing you inside this car. So as you can see, we got the front seats. Now these seats are of a 78, so they got a little bit different pattern. So I'll be selling these as probably separate because they're for our 77, 78. I did put 76 tracks on it because the tracks are different, but I've got the 78 tracks at my shop, so I'm putting those back on there. Set these back up for a 77, 78 model 280Z here. But as you can see, I mean, the car has some rust in it, but it's rusted in the weirdest spots because the floor pans are still there, but when you get in the back, like I mentioned earlier from other videos I posted, the back is where this car is really bad. But I'll show you the back seat here. Open this up. So you can kind of stuff been storing rags, stuff in there, but there's our back seat. It's in really good shape. So we still got all of our interior pieces here. You got our headliner still in here. And so we're going to be taking all this stuff out. And so if you, like I said, if you guys need like door skins or door panels, as they're sometimes called, any of the interior quarter pieces, I've got all those. Back seats in good shape. But we're going to be just taking everything out. I've got the seat belt assemblies. I was going to reuse these seat belts, but I ended up finding some 260Z seat belts, so I'll be setting it back up. A few things I will be keeping because I'm going to need them for the 260, such as maybe this right here, but you can see the other one's busted all the pieces anyways. Got this panel here. I do have this panel here removed, but it's at the shop. I've had it in storage ever since I got this car running. Just kind of been using it for storage. We got some spare half shafts and that kind of stuff back here. But anyways, let's get started. I think we'll start with the front seats first. That'll be the easiest. So to get the front seats out, all we have to do is remove these two bolts here in the front, and then we'll slide the seat back, and then there's two more bolts behind here, and we'll get that happening here. So these are actually size 12s here, 12 millimeters. It's kind of chilly today, so I'm trying to stay warm. It's not real warm today. Like I said, I've already had these seats out. But you also get to see more of the rust damage in this car. Should have brought home my drill. Made this a lot quicker. I've had these out, so I'm not worried about them seizing up. There's one of them out. Put this one over here. Grab the gloves. Put the glove off here. I'm trying to keep my hands warm, but it's hard to do working gloves. And it's one of those screws where it's just tight just enough. Anyways, you get the idea. I'll bring you guys back when I get this seat out. You kind of see the floorboard here. So all that's pretty good. It starts getting a little rough back here because I've had some mice in here since I've been working. I gotta get into a bag I had. But you can kind of see where the rust kind of starts here, and then when we get back here, this is when it's like just really sketchy. All along there, once again, over here it's pitting inside the actual frame rail right here, and then you go out here, and it's all, I mean, it's going to stick my hand up in this. It's all bundo right there, so there's nothing left of this car. But that's the reason I quit driving it. Mostly this area right here, there's no structure left. But anyways, that's kind of the look of the rear, but still pretty solid in some places. Get this pulled out of the way there. As you can see, it's solid pretty much all the way from the front. It's a really weird rust pattern on this car. But anyways, let's got that seat out. You can kind of see what it looks like. Of course, once again, I'll be taking this wiring harness all out for the 260. So the wiring harness is going in the 260. But anyways, let's move on. Also, just to show you too, this is where the back bolts go into the 75, 76 280Zs. They actually screw in back here. I think the 78s are actually straight. I think they actually bolt here on top, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've looked at the tracks, but I know the tracks in the 77, 78s don't fit the 76, 75s. So just a note there. Yeah, I just realized this big old hole right there. It's really nice. Looks like we got the frame. That's actually inside the tunnel, I think is where that is. So now at the driver's side, I just pulled the seat out of it. Hey, I was looking for that. I was wondering where that went. It's the knob that goes to my light adjust. But here it is without the driver's seat. You can see the driver's side isn't quite as bad, but I don't know what happened to this car. I think it went off-road at some time, or I might have done this in the junkyard when I was dragging this thing out. We got a nice rip across the inside here. That's actually a rip. You see the metal. That's just it's just kind of like pulled away there. We did have it we did have to work it out of the junkyard, so it could have drug across something. But that's a pretty clean cut. So I don't know if we did that, or that probably took some impact to rip it like that. Looks like it got ripped out backwards, like it's being dragged backwards, and it pulled it because it ended right here with this kind of can opener style rip right there. But once again, you can see this side here looks better. It's definitely got a floor over here, but you know, once again, you get back over here and it's all just a mess. Funny story is, it's a brand new antenna. I put that antenna on, and a week after I put it on, I was driving down the road and somebody lost a cardboard box and it blew up and popped my new antenna, and I lost my radio stations. So I never did bother putting a new radio on it. New antenna, I mean. But anyways, but yeah, once again, you can just kind of see still got some of the interior here. This is actually something I had to rip out to get the carpet out. But yeah, you can see it's definitely got a share of rust in here. Definitely not as bad as the passenger side, but still pretty bad having that rip right there. But now we're going to get the back seat out. It's going to be probably the easiest now since we got the seats out. I'll be taking the seat belts out, etc. here as well, because we still got the seat belts. Seat belts still work great in this car. You know, it's been setting, but they're in good shape. So we'll be taking all that out as well here. But yeah, now you can kind of see. Now you can see the inside of it a little bit better. So you kind of see how the 2+2 seat belts work. They actually go inside a tunnel inside the quarter interior panel, where on like the coupes they go on the back of the rear strut tower. That's where they actually mount on the 280Z's coupes. So that's a little bit different design there, just between the 2+2 and coupe design there. But anyways, let's get this back seat out. It'll probably be the easiest because I don't have it even bolted in, because it just sits in here because it's all rusted out underneath it. So I never did bother to bolt it back in. But anyways, let's get going on that. I'll show you the front seats real quick. I've got them sitting out over here. So there's our nice front seats. They're in good shape. The foam is a little deteriorated in them, but there would definitely be some good seats if somebody needs some that looks better than, you know, these look better than most when they've been setting out. And one reason I had to replace them, because the seat that came in this car, vinyl got all hard, and it just deteriorated it. And I sat in it to try to, when I was reviving it, and it would just, I'd fall through it, and the foam was about gone because it had been eaten up by mice and everything else. But anyways, let's get this back seat out. I'll also show you too this driver's side back here, so you can see how great it looks. It's got a little bit of wrinkling in it. I can crawl in here now and show you. So we got just a little bit of a wrinkle right there. I don't know if that's showing up on my camera too well or not, but that's about the only thing I see. This one here, it looks pretty good there. I don't see any wrinkles on it. One other thing I like about the 2+2s though, you can actually open the rear quarter windows, which is kind of neat. Wish the coupe did that. But yeah, you see. Of course, I conditioned all this when I was getting the car. After I got it cleaned up and driving it, I did condition all this vinyl, so it's nice and soft and pliable, so it's not hard at all. A cute little back seat. But you have to be a midget to sit back here in it because there's no room between the front seats and rear. Me and my buddy, we experimented with that. I'll give Luke, my buddy, a shout out here. We had some fun when we got the seats back in this car. When we sat back here, we just seen if we could actually do it, and it was tight. It was pretty much just a little joke of a back seat, but it was a back seat, so legally you could have 4 people in this car if you had to. But yeah, anyways, we'll undo the seat belts here. So I just kind of got those put together so they're down. They put my wrench over here. I'll show you this right quick. So we got some plastic. I think that's off. I don't know what that's off of, but I don't see anything it came off of. Yeah, the only thing missing in this car is this upper piece that goes across. That's the only thing missing. And of course the lights all busted out, like most of them are. They just dry rot. But all this harness, once again, will be getting pulled, and that'll be going in the 260. But we still got the handles. They're missing that. That's what that plastic's off of. It's off the little covers for the grip handles up here. You can kind of see them there. You see the screws, but we don't have the little plastic cover. That's what all this plastic here is. They just deteriorated. As you can see, same thing on this one. So that's where that plastic came from. But anyways, we'll see if I can pull this back seat. I'm not going to do it one-handed. We'll see if I can. But like I said, it's not bolted in. I just got it set here. I'm going to push the seat belt through the back seat here. Gently. There we go. But these seats are still good and pliable as well. I've kept them up. They're a little dirty right now, but I do keep them conditioned. Because if you can keep this vinyl conditioned, it doesn't crack on you. And I just used some turtle wax interior cleaner. But yeah, I think we can pull this out. Let me get my foot out of the way here. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah. There we go. Just like that. So there's our rear seat, our bottom of our rear seat, right there. But you can see it's in good shape. Needs a good cleaning again, but it's in good shape. There's the foam underneath. It has a little bit of rust residue from sitting on that metal. It's all rusted out, but it ain't bad. Not bad at all. The foam is still in good shape, which is what's important. It's still very, very pliable there. So there's that, but now you can also see, once again, the rear seat, just how rusted this is. I mean, this is just a matting here, but you can see underneath this, it's just, we know it's bad when this is pulled away. Yeah, but you can see just how soft all that metal is. It's just, there's really nothing left of it. And that's the whole rear of the car. You can see it's even rusted out around the edges here. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. You can see just how bad it is, even around all that. It's just terrible. Of course, big old hole over here, and there's your frame, and then there's where it's actually, I can see this on my camera screen. Yeah, right there, you can actually see where it's started cracking apart there in the framework. This is an old piece of metal. It's no longer going anywhere. So yeah. It's just, it's in really poor shape. That's the only reason this car is becoming the donor for the 260. But the back seat is pretty easy. I'll show you kind of how it works. So it's actually a pretty cool little design. One reason I did kind of like the 2+2, because you got more trunk space. But I'll show you this right quick. So the back seat lowers. You actually just pull this little handle. You got one on both sides. You can see it. This one actually activates that one. This way you can kind of, well, maybe you can see it. I don't know if you can or not. I think it has to be locked to move, but that folds down, it's hinged. And it folds down, and now you got a big old area that you can haul stuff in here. And for those that know my other business, I've carried 2 Polymogs in this car at one time, which are about 71 note keyboards. They weigh 67 pounds a piece. And I've actually stacked them on top of each other and pulled them in the back of this car. So this thing's definitely got some room to carry stuff in it, which is partly why I like the 2+2. But, you know, like I say, it's just the rust damage. That's the only reason I'm not restoring this car. It's just too much rust in bad areas. But to get this back seat out, it's pretty easy. All you do is take out these 2 screws over on this side. And you got 2 screws over there. And you pull those out. And then that frees up this whole back seat to come out. And of course I got the trim's kind of pulled away here. I've actually got brand new carpet. I'll be putting a new piece of carpet on the back of the seat. It actually goes under these metal tabs here, and that locks your rear carpet in place. But once again, between a 78, 77 to 76, the 74, I'm sorry, I'm getting this all, I'm going backwards. 75, 76, 280Zs have a flat floor. So this floor is actually the floor of the car. And 77, 78, as you saw on the Turd 280Z, they put a fake floor in here, so they actually raised all this up and put like a particle board floor in there, which I didn't really like. That's one reason I don't really like the 77, 78s. Yeah, this actually, when you put the carpet down, it actually sets on the metal. So it's, you know, it's just a flat floor. You got more structurally sound floor in the back than you do on 77, 78, 280s. But anyways, I'm going to get this back seat pulled, and we'll continue on. Alright, we now have the seats out of this car all the way to the back. As you can see, the back seat's out. Got the seat belts out. Now, something interesting is that of all the things that are metric on this car, the seat belt bolts are actually 5/8. Thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, we got the seat belts out. Then once again, you can just kind of see how good a condition all this is in. It's in really good shape. But also for those that may be curious how this all fits together, I was looking right here at this trim piece. So we got a center trim piece with 2 screws in it. That comes out. The seatbelt assembly comes out right here. You take these bolts out and all this trim piece comes off here. And then there's going to be, it's like that's tucked under the gasket of the car on this actual lip. So I got to figure out how that all comes apart. Unfortunately, my camera died yesterday, so I didn't get to show you the removal of this panel. But I got this side out, and I'll be showing you on that side how to remove it or install it for those that are curious. But I did get this panel out. I had to pull all the gaskets, so I had to actually lift up this window gasket. Yes, I'll show you. I've got the panels out here. I came out of the car. And so we got the seat belt here, and then what happens is this thing actually wraps around the lip where the gasket goes. So it's actually kind of neat how they keep this in place. But that's how it goes. And also does the same thing around the quarter window seal there. I had to lift all that gasket up to get this freed up. It does have one little bad spot right there, but you can see back here, here's the back of it. So it's actually pretty cool. You see the date code 51, which in Shawa, that's actually 76. 51 is 76, 52 would be 77, etc. But I just always think that's kind of cool. So June 15th, 1976, or June 14th, 76, looking at this date here. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. I thought that was kind of cool. But it does have a crack right there, just old plastic. But for what it is, though, it's in good shape. There's that, and I got the wheel off here. See how that works. Fits around, it's in good shape, still very pliable. Same thing here. Also still has a little piece of board that goes inside there that kind of helps hold this position of this piece here over the strut tower. You can kind of see back here in the car. Kind of fits around this piece right here. And but yeah, so there's that side. We're going to start on this side here next, and I'll walk you guys through it. Yeah, so talking about how these panels here are wrapped in these upper areas, you can see how it wraps over. So you can kind of see how this works. You pull this gasket back and they actually wrapped this around the actual seal. Now it's hard to get this stuff to break loose without tearing this up. I think I got this one just about. Yeah, there we go. So you kind of see how that wraps around. Sorry, my camera worked. But that's actually part of this panel. So it kind of holds everything together up here in this lip, just so you guys know. It's got one here and one on the upper half of this panel. And so that's just something that has to be removed there. But I'll get this one here. It actually looks like it's between the seam of the metal for some odd reason. It's very interesting there. We'll get this in here pulled. Can't see my camera screen that well. There you go. Yeah, you can kind of see how that works. Yeah, it's better up close. Yes, that actually wraps around that metal like that, and then when they put the weather stripping in, it actually pinches that and keeps it in place. Same thing up here. And it's the same thing above this window here. So when you look at our window here, that's the same process. We'll pull this gasket here up, pull it loose from this trim there, and go from there. But yeah, you can see this one's got that little wrinkle in it right there. But overall, not too bad. Of course, this gasket, I've already pulled this gasket, that's why it's all sticking out. I've got all that pulled loose now, as you can see. Now the next thing we have to do is actually take our window mount screws here out, so we can push that window out a little bit further so we can get this gasket here off. And then I'll bring you guys back when I start actually removing this panel. Alright, now I have this panel ready to pull here. So what we do is we take a tool like this, and what we'll do is stick it behind this panel, and we'll pull up on these little plastic pieces that hold this panel to the car, just like so. They're not the easiest things to get to. This one back here, I gotta. There we go. One more down here. There we go, just like that. Now this panel here is actually loose and floating, and then what you have to do here is actually take this guy and pull down on him just a hair. And there's our panel, just like that. And the seat belt slips this little opening right here. Bring that back around that way. It's cracked in the same spot. As you can see, there is our panel. And we'll just lay it outside the car here, like so. And now you can see how that looks. And then for these, the actual pieces here, we'll take these screws. I put these screws back in the car where the seat was. And now these are glued to the metal, so it's a little bit tricky. But what I found on the other side is take another one of these tools. I found that this angled one here works better. I can take it and fit it between this lip right here of the car. Just kind of work around this groove here. And once you kind of get one spot broken loose, you can kind of start peeling it up. And you kind of want to run a tool under it at the same time, so you can help pry those glues away, like that right there, and also where the seatbelt was. You just want to go nice and easy with it. There we go, just like that. There, and then what we also got to do is take off this catch. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Let me. You can see that this catch right here, which is for our back seat. We got to remove that as well. And it's either 10mm or you can use a Phillips number 2. Almost if I can. Yeah. Sometimes you have to have a socket wrench. Sometimes a screwdriver works fine on these things. Let's see if. Yeah. That works there. These removed. Get my foot in my position here. My foot's cramping up. So the only issue with working inside of a car is getting. The older you get, the harder it seems to be to get in these positions sometimes. Get this removed here. Come on. so there's that. We also got a shim under that. As you can see, there's a shim. There's our seat latch there. So put that in the console right here. So now what we're going to do, continue on. Now one thing I have run into with these, I've been trying to be as gentle as I can, but the other one kind of exploded. That's this little plastic piece right here that kind of sets on it. It actually doesn't do anything support wise, it's just a decorative piece, but they tend to crack, I have found out. Let's see if I can, yeah, I believe this one's going to crack too. Yeah, it's going to crack. If I can remove it from the top, but yeah, it's going to break. It's just old brittle plastic for those. You kind of see, it's the only issue I can't save on these, because the way they mount them, it actually compresses around this. So even if I pull on it from underneath, it's going to pull pressure outward on it and snap it apart. Once you get that, as you can see, there we go. It just kind of pushes it in. There it is. You can kind of see what it looks like. So, got the interior. You can kind of see this is where that little plastic cap sets over the material. But yes, when you pull on it, it's glued really tight behind it. So there's no really saving those little plastic pieces. You could probably have some 3D printed nowadays. It would look pretty good. But so these old plastics, they just didn't age well. But anyways, there's that piece in great shape. Still very pliable. And then basically we do the same thing for the strut tower back here. Alright, so we now have the driver's side panels all out. It's the same process as the other side. You just have to break these glues loose. You can see that yellow colored glue there. So you just have to kind of pull it and gently pull it so you don't stretch it or crack it. As you can see, I'll take you up here, and there's this whole side on this one. I do have, like I say, the panel for this side here for the back. It's just at my shop. But there it is with the back panel, your strut tower covers, and then the quarter panels there with the seat belts. So now I'm going to show you how to remove the door panels. Alright, so to remove the door panels is pretty easy. You just got to remove these little pieces here using a little Phillips screwdriver there. Remove this, and then also this little piece here. Of course, they're broke on this car, but you'll move a 10mm screw there, and then there's actually 2 screws in your armrest, and then you've got your window crank, which you can kind of see down there. I've already got some pliers on it, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But there's a little, basically like a little snap ring that fits around that. I'm going to take my pliers so I can pull that out. Yeah, like that right there. So you can see there's our little snap ring that holds our crank assembly on there on our window. I'm just going to lay that here on the floor so I don't lose it. And then this thing here will slip off like that. So that's pretty easy. And then what happens is when you put it back on, you just slide it in there, and then it snaps in place once you reassemble it there. But anyways, I'm going to take those off, and then the other things you got is some snap ring. Not snap rings, but the same interior panel snaps behind here. You have to use that tool and pull that off. And this thing here will just lift off. It's got a lip up here. It sets on the top, and then this thing will come right off. Alright, now I have everything removed here as far as the door handles. That's kind of show you I've got it all pulled back here, so that just kind of floats. And all you do, pick it up, and there we go. And there's our door panel. As you can see, it comes off just like that. So that's it pretty much. That's how that works. So the other side will be the same way. And then that's pretty much what it looks like. Now this door here I've had apart before. I'll bring it over here just so you can kind of see the inside of the door. But yeah, the doors are a little laid up on this car too. Just looking at the inside there. It's a little bit of rust in that bottom section there. But yeah, that's got the actual rear seat latch removed. You don't necessarily have to take off this handle. You just have to take off that little chrome decorative trim around it. But yeah, anyways guys, that pretty much sums up the interior removal. I'll do the same thing to the other door, and then we'll have all this together as a kit. Is what my plan is. going to try to keep it all together for somebody that might need the 2+2 interior here. But there's that. I don't know if I showed this yet or not, but I've actually got the tail light piece as well here. So it's still in pretty good shape. Some of the holes are a little cracked up, but not bad. I mean, it's old 1970s plastic, so can't expect much. What I do love about this stuff though is like how they've actually got like these labels on there. Turn it around so anybody wants to translate that, they can. Yeah, it's just some cool stuff right there. It's really neat how they'd actually label these pads. I didn't look at the back of this one. Let's see if it's got any kind of markings on it real quick. Yeah, it's got the same labels as the other one. Actually, it's not this one. Take that back. It's this one over here. We already looked at that one. It's this one. The driver's side, yeah. Got 6/5/51 on this one, so June 5th, 1976 on this one here. And of course, it's got this other date right here, which is June 7th, 1976. And once again, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but 51 is 76 in the Showa era, I think is what it's called. I know I'm probably butchering that, but that's the Japanese calendar, basically. And so that's how they would label these panels. But anyways, I'm going to get these things cleaned up. Here is cracked in the same way, unfortunately. That plastic just is kind of brittle there, but it's still good panels. If somebody needs some good panels to replace theirs, I mean, they are in really nice looking shape. But I'm going to get these things cleaned up and get them ready to go to a new home here. I removed the other door panel here, and this one's never been removed before. It still has the plastic barrier there between the panel and the door panel there. So I thought that was pretty neat. And once again, the whole reason this car is even getting treated like this is because of, well, that. So yeah, me and this 2+2's had a good time together. But like I said, it's going to live on in the 260Z here. So here's everything out of the car laid out. We got the door panels, rear pieces. Hey kitty. I got, like I said, I got the extra piece here. We got it right there. Here's the tail light piece. There's the back seat with the seat belts. And I also still have all the headliner and stuff too I hadn't removed yet. Got to still remove all that, but anyways, it's the last look at it here. What you doing, Tuco? What you doing, buddy? But anyways, one final look of it here all laid out. One more little thing here. I just noticed this ashtray. I don't think I've ever opened it. I wonder what's in here. So we got some stuff in there. That's what it is. It's like some vintage, somebody did smoke in this car, it looks like. So I got a double bubble, the old vintage, what's that here? It's an old Charms wrapper. Look at that. Some stuff you find in these cars. Yeah, pretty interesting. Alright, see you guys later.